share with me your work history.
So I was in the corporate world for over 17 years. I recently just left the corporate world in December. But yes, I've always been in the finance and accounting department. I worked for, most experience I had was like 11 years. I worked for Nestle. I have worked for Coke. I have worked for Mosaic. I've worked for Danone, the yogurt company. I've worked for Lockheed Martin. There we dealt with missiles and helicopters and stuff. So yeah, I've been, and it's all been in the finance and the accounting departments all these years. So it's a passion of mine since I was a little girl.
Wow. I thought I wanted to be an accountant. I took accounting and I was like, oh no, I don't want to be an accountant.
I screwed the numbers.
So math not my strong suit. So it's safe to say that you like this, you like doing this, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Super cool. So I guess, which job were you at before you made the decision to become an entrepreneur?
Oh girl, all of them. So it all started with actually when I was at Nestle. Nestle, I thought I was going to retire from there. I thought, you know, that was it for me. Like that was the blueprint. That's what I wanted. I loved everyone. I loved my job. And then one day they decided to go ahead and close everything down and move everything to Cleveland, Ohio. So they literally just laid everybody off.
Wow.
Once I was going through that process, I was like, okay, then something needs to change. And like, I can't have my way of living or just my life in general depend on somebody else, whether, you know, I'm going to have a job today or not. So since I was a little girl, I always wanted to do accounting and like have my own little business, but it was never like top of mind till then. So when that happened at Nestle, I was like, okay, like it's time for me to really do something. And that's when like my whole mindset changed to, okay, let's start and do something on my own once this is over with the whole layoff and all that stuff.
Okay, so you weren't exactly unhappy, right? Because so going back to the stories, there's so many different stories, because for me, I wasn't unhappy either. It's a different situation. Just to summarize, you were basically like taking control and like, okay, I go to another company again and I got to think about this again. So that was the whole,
exactly. And yes, because I wasn't unhappy at all. I was actually really happy.
Yeah.
I loved everyone that I worked with. It was still like a family. We were all like family. And the work I did, everything I loved. But it was just that one decision that kind of changed my whole mindset of, okay, why is it that I have to wait for someone to be like, hey, guess what? After this day, you're no longer going to have a position here, or you're no longer going to be having a job. Now I have to go back out there and start looking for a job all over again, which is really what happened. I still continue to work after, it's been what, 6 years now since that happened. And I still continue to work in other corporate jobs, temporary, just contract work. And that kind of was the light that turned on my head. Like, okay, girl, like, obviously if you're not getting a job that's full-time and you're just doing contract work, it's for a reason. I always say there's a reason for everything.
Me too.
And yeah, that's like my thing. I'm like, there's a reason for everything. If it's not happening, it's for a reason. And God has other doors for you, you know, like the other doors are going to open, and look where I'm at today. So, you know, it's step by step, and you might not think that you're going to make it. You might not think like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Like after this, but God always opens doors. So I'm very grateful for that.
Absolutely. The things that happened before prepare us to where we are today.
Definitely.
So let's fast forward to your transition. And you and I have the same, let's say, I think, thoughts behind this. So if you were to, I'm going to give you 3 words and pick the word that best suits your transition from corporate to entrepreneur. Okay. So it's the good, bad, or ugly.
Oh my God. I'm not going to say good.
Okay.
Because I've had so many ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say ugly either. Not bad.
Yeah.
I would say so. What really, really made me completely say, okay, this is it for me, was back in December when I was at my last contract work with, I lasted a year, and they did the same thing.
Yeah.
They went ahead and they outsourced everything, and they let all of the departments go. That was the second slap on my face. Like, girl, if you didn't get it the first time, this is the time for you to get your together, you know, because excuse my French. But yeah, so that was kind of like, okay, like you have to make this work. The transition it's a little hard just because you have that background from corporate and you know what you're doing. But when you go on your own, all these little things fall all on you. There's no other department where you can say, hey, can you take this? Or hey, you need to do this because the only portion I'm doing, is this part.
Right.
Like you mentioned, you did marketing, communication. I didn't do marketing or communication when I was in the corporate world. And then here I am today, and I'm like, crap, like I have to do communication, I have to do the marketing. So it's a learning process, but it's actually really good and nice because at the same time, as you're growing, you're learning, and that's more knowledge that you're learning, and it adds to the value that you're offering because you're learning as you go.
Yeah.
And I feel like, okay, when you're in a corporate world, yes, you learn a lot, but you're not learning the different departments.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in your own little department and with your own little things. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're learning all these extra little departments that you had no idea what they did.
Yeah. I like to call myself and I've written this everywhere, I think, the CEO. It's the chief everything officer, so you gotta do everything, and you gotta do it all the time and all these things.
Yeah. So I would say the transition, I didn't do it to where, okay, one day it popped in my head, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this, and I left my job and just started, from scratch. It was actually a process. I've been working on it for the last couple of years. So little by little, I've been learning and, getting mentoring and coaching and stuff. So when I felt that I was actually ready, and well, at the same time, I didn't have a choice because they were like, hey, December 30th is your last day. I'm like, shit, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So I was already getting ready for that. So once that happened in December, it was just like, okay, I'm just going to take the leap of faith. I think I'm ready. I've done a lot. I learned a lot. I kind of know which ways I should go and which steps I should take. And that made it a lot easier to do the transition.
What are the things that you took from corporate life, whether it be, I don't know, a habit or whatever, that really transferred well into your entrepreneurial life?
I feel that the structure, what you learn when you're in the corporate world, that structures, those systems that they put in place, they're there for a reason, this to help grow their business, to keep everything intact and know what's next, what's coming, just be ready and plan. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I took from corporate was actually follow that structure and those systems so I can run my business, but also help my clients run their business. So I think it was a win-win. I mean, I learned so much, and the way that they run a corporate business to now helping small business owners run their business just like if they were in a corporate world, I think it's the best of both worlds.
Tell us about your business. Do you work with specific people, not companies, but, industries, etc.?
So at the moment, I am working with female entrepreneurs. It could be any industry at the moment. I'm not really niching down to anyone specifically yet, just because when I was in the corporate world, I always worked in the food service and beverage manufacturing business. There's not a lot of that in the small business world. So when I started going out and networking and meeting other females, it was just like, we instantly clicked.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I would love to help females that are having issues understanding their numbers or just doing their bookkeeping, period. So it's not really niching down yet. Right now, I'm just broad. I'm just any female that's it could be a female in general. I mean, it could be anybody, but so far I'm niching down just to the females in business.
Yeah, because we're great. So during your transition, did you have any guidance? Did you have any support? Did you share that you were leaving this sort of corporate world with your family, friends, or whatever? And did they support you?
This is actually the second time that I leave the corporate world. I left the corporate world 3 years ago for 8 months, but I wasn't prepared. I was just overwhelmed. And I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to just go ahead and just jump in my business. And I left corporate for 8 months, 7 to 8 months, and I tried doing my own thing. But like you just mentioned, I had no guidance. I had nothing. It was just me trying to make it. So that didn't work.
Yeah.
I had to went back to a 9 to 5. And then that's when I was like, okay, I need to prepare myself better. I need to understand better how the process is of actually running your own business.
Yeah.
And that's when I went ahead and I invested in mentoring and coaching to help me get better in those areas. And then once December came and they did the layoff, it was just like, okay, now I feel ready, because now I know a lot more of what I need to do in order to grow my business.
Yeah.
The first time around, I didn't know nothing. I was just trying to grow my business with 2 clients and not posting. I wasn't doing anything. I just automatically thought that organically these people were going to come to me just because I'm here.
Yeah. So did you feel supported by your family?
So I would say, as far as support system goes, like from family members, they were all kind of like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Like, like, you're going from a secure job where you're getting your paycheck, you're getting benefits, you're getting this, to now going on your own. You have no idea exactly what's going to happen once you do that change. My husband was kind of skeptical about it too. He was like, are you sure? Like, because now I'm going to, all the bills are going to be on him and everything's going to be on him. And I'm like, I got this. Like, believe in me. Please believe in me, because I'm believing in myself. I'm trying to believe in myself. So I would say, like, the one main support that I really did have was from my sister. And she's all over in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
But we talk every day. And I'm telling you, I have gotten the most support from her, because whatever I say to her, she's like, yeah, go ahead, do it. You can do it. Go ahead and do it. And I'm like, okay. And then just anybody else that I've actually met, like, you, for example, are a big supporter, and just all of my virtual friends that I have made throughout these years have been, I want to say, one of my biggest supporters.
How has the coaching that you have, or the support that you have the second time, how has it helped you really get started and really get moving?
Like we were just saying, when you surround yourself with people that are doing what you're trying to do, and they're a couple of steps ahead of you, it gives you that motivation to want to do more, to want to be up there too, because you feel, okay, I got it in me. I know I can do this. Whatever it is in your mind that's holding you back is yourself. It's your own mind that's holding you back. So when you have people around you that are like, no, girl, go ahead and do it, and they're pushing you to do it, or you see themselves that they sometimes feel down, but they still keep pushing, it gives you that motivation. It gives you that feeling like, shit, if they can do it, I can do it. Come on, let's do this together.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times where I feel down. Just last month, I was really on a slump. Like, I was like, I don't think I want to do this. I was being a couch potato. Like, I didn't want to deal with anything. But at the same time, I was going through a lot in my personal life as well.
Yeah.
And then when I go into these, the calls or coaching sessions and stuff, and you hear all the girls, oh, you should do this, or let's do this, or you can do it, and just giving you that motivation and pushing you, that's everything. I mean, I was like, okay, let's get up, let's do this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have conversations with someone else that's gonna see what you can't see of yourself.
What was something that you wish you did while you were in corporate life to entrepreneurship?
I would say be able to speak in front of a group of, I don't have an issue talking to people that I know, but when it's a whole group of people, I'm like, oh my God. I think that's one of the things, because I mean, they would ask me when I was in corporate sometimes, hey, do you want to, run this meeting? Or do you, no, you got this. It's okay. You could do it. I'll just sit. And now I regret it. It's so important for you to show up, for you to, talk and give these valuable information, and everything nowadays is social media and cameras and videos, and your face is all over the place. And I'm more like, just hide me behind the scenes. I don't want to be seen. I just want to do the work, and that's it. So.
What are 3 tips that you want to share to aspiring female entrepreneurs who are in corporate today?
I would say tip number 1 would be to really know your why. Like, why is the reason you want to leave corporate and start your own business? Because a lot of us sometimes do it because, oh, I'll make more money, I'll have more time. But in reality, you don't have more time. You have less time. It's a lot of work that goes into it. But yeah, just be ready and know your exact why, not just a reason because, oh, you're having a bad day in corporate and now I don't want to do this no more. Tip number 2, I would say start going out there and network and just meet people. The more people you know, the better. And tip number 3 take a leap of faith. If you believe in yourself and you believe you can do it, take a leap of faith, because you will, like, I stood there for a long time sitting on a cubicle because I wasn't sure. I don't think I could do this. I don't think I could do this. But you would never know until you take that leap of faith. You will never know what's on the other side until you get there.
And do you feel that now that you're an entrepreneur, and you're on your own and you're just self-reliant, and yes, you might be working more hours and everything else like that, you know, how do you feel?
I love it. I love every bit of it. I do work more hours. It's not a specific time. I don't have to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning and be there till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I could go out about my day. I could wake up in the morning, take my kids to school, and not having to stress of the commuting to work, because that was me. I was very stressed when I was working corporate because of commuting and the kids and all this. Now I'm like, okay, I'll take my kid. If I want to go have breakfast somewhere, I go have breakfast somewhere. So I go to the gym. I come home. I clean.
What is the one thing that entrepreneurship gave you that you didn't have before?
It gave me my freedom to be able to spend more quality time with my kids, to be able to be home when my kids are home.